What is going on? What's going on YouTube? I'm Daniel back with another video for the channel. If you guys are new, I'm making this channel in order to help you guys with sharing value that I've come across recently in terms of best habits to apply to your life, fitness, things that I've gone through, personal experience, and things that I want to share that I feel like can help you guys. So to get right into it, as you see in the title of the video, a bit controversial, but essentially I feel like this is a lie that's been sold to us by society, especially to men. Obviously, men have more of a kind of competitive mindset, being able to, are relied on for providing resources, being able to, provide for their families, stuff like that. So I think this could apply more to men. It could apply to women as well, as women are becoming more independent and try to do their own thing as well, which I respect. But essentially, like I mentioned in the title, there is no making it. There's no such thing as making it, and I'll go into it and explain why. So I think recently this year, a bit more last year as well, I've been really investing in myself. I was able to come across a mentor. His name is Yaros. I'm not sure if you guys know him. He's from Spain. Very successful online fitness coach that's helping people kind of replicate what he's doing and become online coaches. Essentially, I came across him because I really enjoyed his habits. His connection to God is a big thing as well, and he's the only person that I've seen in this space of millionaires or people that are successful that actually enjoys his wealth and appreciates it, has gratitude, is not just chasing the next thing. So that's really what brought me to him, and I joined his habits and mindset coaching. So it's like a phase one that he teaches people, and he's able to really get your habits dialed down, which is the most important thing. I can go into this separate video, and then everything starts with your habits and mentality, and then everything stems from there. But essentially, one thing that he mentioned that I also read in a book as well, but I'll mention that after. But he mentioned, so like I said in the title, there's no such thing as making it, and essentially the way he explained it really brought to light, how it works. And I think I've read it before in a book, like I mentioned, but it never really stuck with me the way, it does when a person that's where you are and where you want to be, gives you that revelation and really explains it the way he did. So essentially, he basically said that people tell him that oh, you've made it, you have the cars, he's living in Miami, you have the mansion in Miami, you have the wife, and you've made it. But essentially what he mentioned is there is no such thing as making it. And as a man or anybody in life, there's either offense or defense. You're either accelerating and have your gas on the pedal, or you're braking and slowing down and playing defensive. And that's one thing that made me think and realize fuck, I guess your whole life men have this vision of okay, I'm gonna make all this money I can, and then just kind of sit on the beach and enjoy that and maybe just chill. But I mean, that's really just in a way bringing you to death, because the way I see it and the analogy I've made in my head is I'm not sure if you guys have any knowledge of a video called The Strangest Secret in the World. But essentially, I forget the name of the person that says it, but he goes into basically comparing the mind and a person to, a ship, and, having a goal is reaching a new port or a new harbor. And essentially, I've really been applying that in terms of the mentality that I have now. Like I mentioned, realizing that there is no end. So essentially the way I see it is every I would say men in this case, every man is a ship in a way, figuratively speaking. And his whole purpose should be really to see how many ports he can reach, or how many harbors, and the ports being the goals again. I think if you give it an analogy, if you go to a harbor or some kind of harbor front, and let's say someone gets to a port and leaves it there, is that that boat will kind of just start to rot, decay, just kind of die, right? It's not being used, it's not going to a new port, and it's essentially losing life. And I mean, that's kind of the goal that most people have is I want to just work and then get to a place where I can kind of just fall off, or kind of take the foot off the brake, off the gas, and kind of just play defensive. And it's for me personally, I don't, that doesn't make sense to do, right? Why would you just spend your whole life to like kind of just let things fall off, because when you do get comfortable and you start doing the things that get you to somewhere, that's when you start to die, and then you kind of like scramble to like get back. But essentially, the book that I first stumbled upon with this idea is called The Way of the Superior Man by David Deida. So any guy, I say, should read this as soon as they can, probably 18, 19. It's a book that kind of touches on everything, business, how to, think in the world, and also like how to handle relationships with women, and just kind of the mentality that would help you to really win in this life. So, I mean, that's where he first touched on like, there is no end. But like I said, I never really like paid attention. I was super young when I read it the first time. And, as people that read, every time you read a book at a new age, you learn something new and you pick up something that you've never picked up, because obviously you have a different experience. You're maybe trying to figure out a new problem, or, you have a different level of consciousness. So you understand life a bit more, and maybe trying to figure out a different avenue in your life. But I mean, that point when, my mentor Yaros mentioned that, and the way he put it like that, it's like, fuck, it's like, it kind of just cleared everything for me. And even a person, in that status of, having everything the life that I want, essentially, that's why I subscribe to his coaching, and he's able to like really break it down that way. I mean, that's changed everything for me. And now it's kind of just like, you can kind of think every day, like, am I attacking or am I defending, right? And that's all that really matters. So just a quick video just to kind of get you guys on the mentality that, yeah, there could be a finish line if you want, but like, I mean, you're just trying to get somewhere to like basically essentially die, right? Like, as soon as you stop working and improving, you're dying, right? So is that the goal you want? I mean, sitting on the beach and, maybe you have the hot girl beside you, or the luxury cars, but then, if you're not doing anything to like maintain that, you just want to relax, that's, like I said, it's like a ship out of harbor just decaying and not being able to do what it's used for, which is like, travel to new places, hit new goals. In this case, like I mentioned, you're a ship going to a new port, a new harbor, and being able to really, see where you can go in this life, right? Like the person that you can create. I think that's would be the goal, is like, what kind of person can I create, and can I create or keep recreating, right? Because each time, if you're doing things right, you're creating a new person, you're killing an old person in terms of, the way he's thinking, his habits, and things like that. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, like and subscribe. There'll be more coming. We'll try to be very consistent with this, because I actually enjoy just giving you guys, value from the heart. And, it'll be, like I said, related to fitness, health, mindset, relationships, things that I've experienced that, kind of come to my head, and I can share value with you guys. So appreciate the support, and see you guys again soon.